You ready for the show?
Oh, yeah. Did you hear that the game this weekend only has an 8-point spread?
7.5, actually.
Oh, that's even better. And also, did you hear about the overtime thriller that the soccer team had?
Yeah, I did. We'll fill you in on this and much more. Sports Mag starts right now. Hey Buff fans, and welcome to another exciting edition of CU Sports Mag. I'm Mallory Chris, and sitting beside me is Steve Nelson.
Thanks, Mallory. Fun fact, the first time I was on the desk, you were my co-anchor. So it's good to have the dream team back together.
Oh yeah, I'd forgotten about that. But enough about the past. Let's start the show off with some basketball. The University of Colorado basketball team has returned to the floor for the first time in the 2015-2016 season. After a season of turmoil that saw the Buffaloes lose in the CBI to Seattle University, the Buffaloes are back with a chip on their shoulder. While the team lost guard Askia Booker to graduation, every other member of the starting five will be back with Colorado this season. During the spring, head coach Tad Boyle brought in two new recruits from overseas, Keenan Gutinovic and Thomas Akizili. Derek White also joined CU, but will have to sit out a year due to NCAA transfer rules. But perhaps the biggest addition to the team will be Josh Fortune, who will be seeing competitive play for the first time since 2014. The junior had to sit out last year after transferring from Providence College. Although many are skeptical of the Buffaloes after last season's struggles, head coach Tad Boyle shed some light on how the loss of 2015 will help the team going forward.
I'm not going to harp and dwell on last year, but I do think we need to use it as a motivational factor and a basis for understanding, what our standards are.
The CU football team is prepared to play Oregon tomorrow night. Steve, let's take a look at how they did last weekend against Nicholls State. The offense was on fire. They had 93 total plays for 636 yards and held the lead for 58 minutes and 35 seconds of game time. The minute and 25 seconds that the Buffs didn't have the lead was at the beginning of the game when the teams were tied 0-0.
That's right, Mallory. Sefo Lufau suffered a separated shoulder in the game against CSU, but it didn't seem to bother him in the Nicholls State game. He put up 227 yards against the Colonels and passed the benchmark of 6,000 career passing yards. The crushing of the Colonels gave the Buffs their third straight win. The last time this happened was in 2008 when the team won their first 3 games of that season.
Well, we hope Sefo's shoulder holds up during the game against Oregon tomorrow night. It's a primetime ESPN matchup. Make sure to be there in your silver and black.
Saturday's game against Oregon will be one of the biggest games Folsom Field has seen in years, and Coach Mike McIntyre is looking for a statement win. But beating the Ducks is easier said than done.
Well, I definitely hope we can. I definitely believe we can. They're a very good football team, and the thing with Oregon is always you got to be able to tackle in space and make plays in space, and they go fast. And if you're inside alignment and you're supposed to be outside alignment, all of a sudden that play turns into, instead of a 5-yard gain, it turns into a 40 or 50-yard gain.
We've given our take on the Oregon game, but what do our experts have to say about it? Alex Doyle and Kyle Hausworth are in studio breaking down the weekend ahead.
What's up, guys? I'm Kyle Hausworth, and I'm here with Alex Doyle, and this is Double Team. And we're talking the big football game against Oregon this Saturday.
Huge game, Kyle. 42,000 tickets have already been sold. That makes this game the biggest Folsom Field has seen in 2 years.
Absolutely, tons of hype against this. Speaking of which, after a massive victory against Nicholls State, 48-0, this is their first 3-game winning streak since 2008. How do you think the boys are feeling?
I think the boys got to be feeling great. I mean, you're coming off a 3-game winning streak. How can you feel bad? Granted, 2 of these teams weren't super football powerhouses in UMass and Nicholls State, but the way they played against CSU shows me that they can come into a huge game and they can play solid football and they can come out on top and win. And certainly, yeah, having a 3-game win streak, no matter who you play against, is huge. I think
Of
they got to be feeling good.
Of course, of course. Now, Oregon losing their ranking, how do you think that's affecting them?
I don't think it's affecting Oregon very much. Oregon knows that they're Oregon. They're a good football team. They know how to win games. I think CU will gain some momentum from Oregon losing their ranking, but Oregon's not going to lose much, if any, due to the fact that they lost their ranking. They know that they're a good football team, and they know how to win games. And so I think they're going to come in with that mentality, and they're just going to show that, okay, we lost our ranking. What's the big deal? It doesn't matter to us.
Of course, of course. But now, Oregon also lost their quarterback because he can't play at Folsom Field this Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, sickle cell, got to be careful with it. I think it's not going to affect them as much. Again, they're Oregon. They're a deep team. It's going to affect them, I think, a little bit more than losing their ranking will. But they do have good backup quarterbacks on the Oregon football team. I think CU just needs to be able to exploit the fact that they're not playing with a starter. Oregon's not playing with a starter, and just see if the starting defense for the Buffs can just exploit that a little bit.
Totally. Now, Oregon is a very fast team. At this stand, CU has 206 carries for 1,088 yards, whereas Oregon has 193 carries for 1,141 yards. Is that a problem?
A problem? No, not a huge problem. Oregon's productive carrying the football. Oregon's productive throwing the football. Oregon's productive. It doesn't matter what they're doing. They're a productive team. I think CU's defense has stepped up the last few games and shown that they can stop the run. But again, Oregon's fast. I think they'll still get a few more rushing yards than some of the other teams have recently. But I don't think it's the biggest area of concern for the Buffs.
Totally. But Oregon's passing game, because CU Bowl has 71 receptions for 822 yards, whereas Oregon has 78 receptions for 961 yards. That's a big difference.
Yeah, again, it's 7 passes different, and Oregon's more productive than the Buffs are, again, on offense. But again, CU's defense has stepped up a little bit more this year, and they've shown that they can stop the run, they can stop the pass a little bit more than they have in years past. So I don't think they need to be super concerned. They should focus on their offense and try to get points on the board on their offense and just hold Oregon as best they can.
Mm-hmm. Now, this is absolutely a big game. Do you think CU should treat it as like a CSU game?
I think so. Any kind of rivalry game, you're going to have a lot of momentum carrying it through. I think the Buffs just need to pretend that they're playing CSU. They're playing Oregon. It's another good game. I'm super excited.
Absolutely. I'm Kyle Houseworth. This is Alex Doyle. We're here with Double Team. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, guys. It's still unknown if Oregon quarterback Vernon Adams will be playing, but the Buffaloes will still have their hands full this weekend in Boulder.
Put away that phone and close that laptop and see if you can answer this week's trivia question without the help of Google and Siri. In honor of the football team's epic 48-0 win over Nicholls State last Saturday, we want to know, when was the last time CU shut out an opposing football team? We'll have that answer for you at the end of the show.
One of the highlights of last week's win against Nicholls State was Nelson Spruce. The senior set yet another record, this time in career receiving yards. SportsMag's Andrew caught up with Spruce to ask him about his career and what comes next.
How are you feeling about everything this season after yesterday's win?
Good. We have 3 wins in a row now after kind of starting slow against Hawaii. So I think, especially since we're going into league play next week in the Pac-12, I think we built up some momentum and some confidence. So I'm feeling good overall.
Great. So when you first came to CU, you walked on, and did you ever feel like your name would be one of the record breakers? You would be up in headlights?
No. Like when I first got here, that's not even something that's obviously something that really crosses your mind. Like you're just worried about kind of, making a role for yourself and, fitting into the system. And now looking back on it, after all the hard work you put in, it's kind of cool to, see that all pay off.
Definitely. So you've set 2 records so far. You're close to 3. How are you feeling about that?
Good. In this type of offense, we pass the ball a lot. So as long as I do my job, as a receiver, I feel like we get a lot of opportunities to make plays. So as far as that 3rd record goes, I'm not really concerned about it. I feel like it'll come as long as I keep doing my job.
Absolutely. So Coach Mack says he has no doubt that you're going to be playing for some years after college. How are you feeling about your future?
Good. I mean, since I was, I can't even remember how long now, but that's always been my dream to play professionally. I don't even know what I'd be doing if it wasn't for football. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully after this year I can continue doing what I love. That's my goal.
Great. And how are you feeling about your senior year season?
Good. I think this is a year that can be really special for this program. So I'm glad that I'm kind of here to, I think this can be a turning point as far as the program goes. So I'm here. I'm glad I'm here to kind of be a part of it all. And I think hopefully this will be a special season.
Great. All right. Thank you so much.
Spruce has only one more big record left to break, the all-time touchdowns record held by Michael Westbrook. He is only 2 touchdowns away. Coming up after the break, yet another CU athlete receives accolades for the Pac-12.
And CU women's soccer began Pac-12 play. Stay tuned.
I'm starving. What's for breakfast?
Guten Tag!
Johannes, Franz!
I bring you arts-enriched Raisinblams, fortified with increased test scores and creative problem-solving skills.
It's good!
And good for you.
Bobby? Susie?
Don't worry, that's just the power of the arts!
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit americansforthearts.org.
No, what'd she say?
She said whatever.
No, she says that all the time.
What's that?
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Mom, I'm on the phone!
Hello? I'm on the phone.
Who's this? It's me. I'm on the phone. Mom.
Oh, you're on the phone. All right.
Sorry.
Sorry. Anyway.
Who are you talking to? Kelly?
Mom.
All right.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
CU students who join the Peace Corps are usually very adventurous people, very outdoorsy. They usually are very caring, very passionate people.
For the second year in a row, CU Boulder has outproduced all other universities in the nation, both big and small, in the number of alumni who are serving as Peace Corps volunteers. That's a very, very important thing for us.
Peace Corps continues to be the gold standard for international volunteer service. It's Americans making a difference around the world, and many of those Americans have come from this great university.
I'm not sure if it's the beautiful setting or the mountains or the weather, but one thing's for sure, there's a special civic pride on this campus.
The great spirit of volunteerism here on campus and internationalism that you find here really just kind of brings Peace Corps out a little more than it does on other campuses, I think.
You should be very proud to come from a campus that inspires so much public service and collectively works to build a better world.
Last Saturday, the CU women's soccer team upset number 14 seed, the University of California Bears. The women won the game 2-1 in double overtime. Senior Emily Paxton scored her first career-winning goal, ending the game in the 106th minute. CU head coach Danny Sanchez believes that Cal is a very good team, but the Buffs worked hard and made the plays when they needed to. The Buffs put 7 of their 15 shots on goal, while Cal only had 4. The CU soccer team is now 1-0 in Pac-12 play. Their next opponent will be the Oregon Ducks this Friday in Oregon. The CU women's soccer team will travel to Oregon this Friday for their first Pac-12 Conference Road match. The Buffs are playing the Ducks at 8 p.m. on Friday, and then finish up the weekend playing Oregon State on Sunday at noon. The Oregon Ducks are 3-6, and the Oregon State Beavers are 4-2-3. But neither team has won a game in the Pac-12 yet this season. The Buffs won their first Pac-12 game last Saturday against Cal and are hoping to continue their winning streak in Oregon this weekend.
While soccer is starting Pac-12 play and volleyball hits the peak of their season, there's a lot to discuss between these two successful teams. SportsMag's Andrew Hobner will tell you all about them in this week's Buff Banter.
Thanks, guys. I'm Andrew Hobner, and this is the new and improved Buff Banner. While answering questions was good, we figured that we would go a different direction with this new Buff Banner. We'd track the 2 biggest storylines across Colorado athletics this week. So let's start with the soccer team, who's riding the hottest of hot streaks. 6 of the last 7, all in the W column. And the loss that they had was a late loss that you couldn't really chalk up to being all on them against Northwestern. The win, however, was highlighted, this streak highlighted by the defeat of Cal, number 14 in the country on a header by Emily Paxton. Now, you'd think that this is a team that would struggle. Half of their backline graduated out, and Kalia Hogg, who stays on that line, is still injured. Wrong. The Buffaloes have done everything to make sure the injuries have been unnoticed, the team play has continued to be smooth, and the chemistry as good as it was when they beat BYU in the tournament last year. This week, they go to face an Oregon team, a team that's 3-6, struggles a lot on the road, and the Buffaloes can really make a good impression as they go into Pac-12 play here. Now, if you don't think the Pac-12 is probably the best women's soccer conference in the nation right now, go look at the U.S. national team's roster when they played Japan in the final of this past year's World Cup. Over half went to Pac-12 schools, and Colorado is poised to make a statement this year. On to another sport that might not be getting the same amount of success is the volleyball team, and the struggle that continues to fill the big shoes of AVCA All-American Taylor Simpson. Now, this is a pretty big problem for the Buffaloes because Alexis Austin and Gabby Simpson average over 3 kills per set. They do a very good job of making sure that Simpson's presence is still not that felt, but it still is. They've dropped the last 2 games against Utah and Washington despite winning the Omni Hotels Classic. They're going to have a rough go of it up in Oregon, a team that's 7-4, has numerous great outside hitters, and it's going to be tough playing in Eugene like that. It should be good, but we'll see. And we'll see for the rest of these CU sports that play this week as well. Keep giving us the storylines. We really do appreciate it. That's all the time we have for Buff Banner. I'm Andrew Hobner. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Andrew. Both volleyball and soccer face Oregon this weekend on Friday night and Sunday afternoon.
The Colorado volleyball team has had a rough go of things in the past 2 weeks. After winning the Omni Invitational in Boulder, they dropped 2 straight games on their road trip. The first to Utah and the second to number 6 Washington. But the team will be looking for some redemption against the Oregon Ducks, who have played well this year, but struggled last week against Arizona. Game time will be Friday night, October 2nd at 9 p.m.
We have to take another break, but when we return, what's the hockey team doing in Arkansas?
And a CU defensive back made the improbable journey from walk-on to starter. This and much more after the break.
Sounds like you could use some Van Gogurt. It's fortified with arch-rich nutrients to improve your math and reading skills. Catch!
Van Gogurt, thanks. So what's the deal with your ear?
Always with the ear, huh?
Feed your kids the arts. For 10 simple ways to learn how, visit AmericansForTheArts.org.
Listen well, all of you.
A wildfire
No!
can come from anywhere,
Wait.
even the most unexpected places. But 9 out of 10 are caused by humans and can be prevented. Protect our friends in the forest.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Learn more at SmokeyBear.com.
She is one of America's toughest drug enforcement agents. Last year, she helped convict 90 drug dealers, seized several tons of crack and marijuana, and closed down 10 major drug operations. She is a 68-year-old grandmother named Irma. She set up a community drug watch that is not only changing her neighborhood, but its future. There are many ways to help in your community. Call the Points of Light Foundation. Do something good. Feel something real.
Lewis and Clark, great explorers. Hey. Hi, I'm Thomas Jefferson. Would you check out the West for me? Oh, sure. And they take their keelboat up the Missouri. Oh, Buffalo. Then they built Fort Mandan. There at 1804. Made some friends along the way. I'm Sacagawea. Through the Columbia Gorge.
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
The sweet Pacific Ocean.
Junior Esther Lee of the women's golf team was ranked number 3 on the initial Golf Week ranking for this season and number 5 in this week's ranking. This is the highest ranking in CU's history awarded to any women's golf player. And even though she fell 2 spots in the ranking, she is the first in CU history to be ranked in the top 5 twice. The only other time any player was individually ranked in the top 5 was in 2008 when Emily Childs was ranked number 4. Congratulations, Esther. Wednesday night, the men's club hockey team left for 3 away games, 1 in Missouri and 2 in Arkansas. They played the first of their games last night at Mediacom Ice Park against Missouri State, who has a record of 2-4, and have since continued on to Springdale, Arkansas, where they will play their next two games tonight and tomorrow at the Jones Center against the University of Arkansas, who currently has a 3-win, 4-loss record.
The CU men's cross country team is making their mark in the NCAA both as the unanimous #1 team in the nation and the two-time defending champions. Those competing in this week's Rocky Mountain Shootout better be prepared. The bus will have 5 All-Americans competing in the shootout, including Amar Musa, Ben Sorrell, Connor Winter, Pierce Murphy, and Morgan Pearson. The Rocky Mountain Shootout will be hosted by CU at the Buffalo Ranch on South Campus this Saturday. The women's race will start at 9 a.m. and the men's will start at 9:45. Go root on your Buffs.
The CU women's cross country team moved up this week in the USTFCCCA coaches poll to #2 in the nation, showing that the men aren't the only ones with a target on their back. Junior star Aaron Clark continues to be motivated, being a part of CU's winning tradition, saying that it's exciting to be a part of a program where great things are happening, and it's motivating to be around people that are winning championships. Clark will be running in her 3rd shootout this Saturday and is expected to run to a 2nd straight title. The women's race will start at 9:45 a.m. at Buffalo Ranch. Don't go anywhere, because Christine Lambert is coming at you with the fastest segment in the Rockies.
This house was almost saved from a fire that was almost put out by neighbors who almost volunteered. As generous a nation as we are, sometimes instead of giving, we almost give. But almost giving is the same as not giving at all.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys are much too much. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We got the spirit. We're hot. We can't be stopped. We're going to beat them and bust them. Beat them.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Let's get a little bit rowdy. R-O-W-D-Y.
Take time to be a dad today.
Oh, those boys are much too much. Those boys.
Mom,
What?
you can't find Ichabod.
What?
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Hey, how's it going? Yeah, how was your weekend? Oh, have you studied for jogging? Oh, yeah.
Pay attention. It matters.
Hope you've got a cold drink with you because it's time for the hottest segment on TV, Rapid Fire.
Hey Buff fans, I'm Christine Lambert bringing you this week's edition of Rapid Fire. This weekend is CU football's big game against Oregon, and there's a couple of new changes to the game day schedule. We at SportsMag have got you covered on all that's going on. Parking lots open at 2 p.m., giving you plenty of time to grab tailgating supplies from the store before heading to Folsom Field. This is the first time this season that the lots have been open early for CU, so take advantage of the extra tailgate time. The doors to the stadium open at 6:30 p.m. and the lines will be long. Pack up those hot dogs and coolers for a good seat. Ralphie should be seen running around Folsom at around 7:45, so make sure to get there early to see the best tradition in all of college sports. And finally, we have kickoff at 8 p.m. This is the biggest game in Folsom in years, and the Buffaloes need you to fill the stadium. That'll do it for Rapid Fire. I'm Christine Lambert. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Christine. CU and the Pac-12 have put in their Athlete of the Week winners. But here at SportsMag, we like to save the best for last. Our SportsMag Athlete of the Week goes to Ethan Freeman of the men's golf team. After Jeremy Paul chipped in to get the lead at the Mark Simpson Invitational, Freeman chipped out of a sand bunker and putted to save par. He was the last person to swing the club that week, and his steely nerves took him the title for Colorado.
Once a walk-on, Ryan Moeller has now become an integral part in Colorado's new-look defense. SportsMag's own Andrew Hobner headed to the safety's hometown to trace the roots of what got Ryan Moeller to Boulder.
Despite being the 3A Player of the Year in Colorado, Ryan Moeller was only offered the chance to walk on to CU's football team, so he took it. And now he's one of the most integral parts of a resurgent Buffaloes defense.
You know, looking back, I didn't even know if I thought I'd see this happen or this day come, but it's here now, and so I just got to make it happen.
While he had offers from various FCS and Division II schools, Moeller always wanted to come to Boulder.
I never wanted to be unsure, or I never wanted to have that thought of, could I have made it? And so really what that driving factor was coming and trying my best out in the Pac-12 and one of the best conferences.
This Saturday, Ryan Moeller will be starting against the University of Oregon in front of over 40,000 people at Folsom Field. But his career started in more humble beginnings, here, Rifle, Colorado, roughly 3.5 hours from his new home in Boulder.
I've seen a lot of pretty special athletes, and you could tell that Ryan could have fit in any environment and been special on the football field.
The two Division I in-state schools didn't offer Ryan a scholarship, and head coach Damon Wells contends that it's just a product of a system that doesn't pay much attention to the smaller schools in the state.
I fully believe that because of where we are, a lot of Division I coaches don't think that there are a ton of quality athletes that come out of this area, and I think that's part of the special thing that Ryan's accomplishing right now is he's showing the possibility for all kids everywhere.
I think a lot of it comes from a dream, really. You think about where you want to go in your future and how you're going to get there, and walking on here was definitely the first option and the first step to that dream.
Andrew Hobner, CU Sports Mag.
Moeller will be back in his normal starting role with the Colorado defense this weekend against Oregon.
I know you've been racking your brain for the past 20 minutes or so, but rack no more. We have the answer to the trivia question. In case you forgot, we asked, when was the last time CU shut out an opposing football team? And the answer is, drumroll please, 2009. On September 17th of that year, the Buffs put up 24 points against the University of Wyoming, while holding the Cowboys to a score of, you guessed it, 0.
For this week's Tweet of the Week, we have a little nugget of CU football history. Our tweet comes from CU center Alex Kelly, who tweeted, "Fun little fact, my dad played in the first ever televised ESPN game against the University of Oregon. That game was played on September 8th, 1979 in Folsom Field. Kelly's father, Kerry, played offensive lineman for the Buffaloes and lettered three times between 1976 and 1979.
Tomorrow's game against the Ducks has ridiculously high stakes. SportsMag's own Aaron Sullivan hit campus to see how much students actually know about the Ducks and the rainy state that they call home.
Guys, I'm Aaron Sullivan out here on campus herding some local Buffs to see where they think the Oregon Trail may lead to next. All right, let's play Define It. So this is a childhood video game involving covered wagons and settlers. Define it.
Covered wagons and I don't know.
Wagon settlers. The Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail.
Have you played that?
No.
No? Okay. College football team, their colors are green and yellow. Define it.
Rams.
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, yeah. Another team.
Oregon.
Ducks. Their mascot.
Ducks. There you go.
Are they?
Yeah. Ducks, okay.
College football team that lost to Utah 20-62. Define it.
Ducks. I got no clue.
Hint, quack, quack.
Oh, Oregon Ducks. Of course.
Yeah. And the team that the Buffs are going to crush this weekend.
Oh, God, it's the family weekend game, but I don't know who they're playing.
Definitely the Ducks.
That's absolutely the Ducks.
Well, depends on how they play it, though. But we have to hope for the best and make the best from it.
What are the Buffs going to say when we win?
Scope ups.
Looks like we've got a dictionary full of definitions for how this weekend might go. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Aaron. I don't know about you, Mallory, but I just learned a lot about the Ducks. How about you?
Nah, I already knew everything anyways. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'm Mallory Chris, joined by Steve Nelson. Parents, enjoy your weekend in Boulder. Stay safe out there, Buffs.